everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today I will be doing my homework. When I get off of here, I'm going to sit up there and been a long road, pay my bills. Give me a second, y'all. I didn't know I need to wipe off my glasses. Come on, Superman, say your stupid lines. So today we're going to be doing my homework. Today we're going to be doing my homework. And I'm sorry, I have to. If you're out there, come on, Superman, say your stupid lines. Okay. So today we're going to be doing my homework. Homework comes first. I want to be caught up on my homework and I don't want to fall behind. Even though I'm 2 weeks ahead of schedule, I want to make sure that I'm have the discussions rolling okay and everything is cordial. Um, so let's get started with that. This is, I have a lot of stuff to do. Give me a second. Let's chill. Let's settle down. That's what I wanna do. Just me and you. I have nobody to sing that to. That's sad when you have nobody to sing that to. Okay, let's see. Where were we at? Let's just go to assignments and see what we had in assignments. We did employee engagement analysis. Here we go. Now we're back. Oh, I got a piece of hair right here and it's tickling my face. I get inside your face. You remember Blades of Glory? He's like, get out my face. I'll get inside your Oh, PG rated R. I just noticed what that meant. Out of all these years of watching this movie, oh my God, they were so funny, man. Share screen. Okay. From Kevin Sheridan. Sorry to message so frequently, but there's something else I'd like you to include. In keeping with me or strategic goal to increase employee morale, engagement, and satisfaction, identify 3 sub goals that you plan to achieve with your unit. These sub goals are secondary SMART goals to work towards achieving that strategic goal. Anything on my mind before I start dipping into this homework? Um, oh, okay. How can achieving these, what's today? Wednesday? I have court tomorrow. How can achieving these goals make your subordinates feel more included and valued in your section? That is all for now. Please complete this before moving forward. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. My lips are so numb. like they're tingly because they're healing. Okay. At work, you probably been involved in setting, measuring, and evaluating progress in meeting goals. These goals may not have been set for your particular position, or perhaps they were established for your unit or organization as a whole. Let me reread that by myself. Yeah, a particular position. Okay. Before creating one or more SMART goals, it is important to envision and clarify how you see see your career progressing, the career path you wish to take to make this possible, and the personal competencies you believe will be important to get you where you want to be. You can create and implement SMART goals to help you achieve the future you envision for yourself. The SMART model is described below, followed by example. Where am I at? Hold on. It glitched for a second. Let me just reread it. Before creating one or more SMART goals, it is important to envision and clarify how you see your career progressing, the career path you wish to take to make this possible, and the personal competencies you believe will be important to get you where you want to be. You can create and implement SMART goals to help you achieve the future you envision for yourself. The SMART model, just like I said, SMART goals, you can, you know, I don't mean like, how can I say this? I don't mean to keep bringing Donald Trump into this, but um he he's a man with SMART goals to help you achieve your future you envision for yourself. I have to use him as an example. Um The SMART model is described below, followed by example and explanation of some of its limitations. So number one, S, specific. S stands for specific. Your goal should be sufficiently specific such that you identify what you want to achieve, when, where, and why. So basically, it should be specific, very specific. You have to identify what you want to achieve, such as for Donald Trump, he was trying to achieve being president when he was going like a year what's today? It's about to be 8 months almost. Where DCY because he wanted to bring peace to the world. Measurable. You need to be able to measure and verify your progress in achieving your goal. Progress. Measure and verify your progress. Measure. He was going on a campaign trail, and he was verifying his progress through statistics of charting graphs and people voting for progression, and him achievable. Boy, is that not achievable? I'm not looking to win. If I win by a landslide, I will be happy. But I know I'm not going to win. But I'm going to make history. Achievable. Many of us have experienced setting a goal that we eventually realized wasn't really achievable. Being president is something that's not quite achievable unless you know almost everybody in, you have to have connections. So it's really not achievable for me right now to say that this will happen. But on the contrary, I feel like working at it is the best possible solution. Working at goals such as trying to do it, just do it like Nike. That's a saying that a lot of people sit up there and don't understand and internalize. You have to just do it. you know. So many of us has experienced of setting a goal we eventually realized wasn't really achievable. And it's important to reduce this risk. So I can reduce the risk by sitting up there uh, wanting to be a governor or a senator, you know, that will reduce the risk of trying to go out there being King Kong and trying to be president, you know, right away. You know, this is something that is a work in progress. One approach is to discuss your goals with your mentor, coach. You have to discuss. In my case, I'm going to go back to Toastmasters. I'm going to go back to Toastmasters and start there. That's how I'm gonna start. You know, I'm just being myself. When I dance and when I sing, I'm just being myself. You know, I feel like, you know, I'm I, a low end entertainer. You know, I don't want to say low end because it just sounds like food stamps. You know, where you going with them food stamps, girl? You know, if I'm food stamps, I'm cash. I'm the cash, you know, straight cash, you know, be able to buy alcohol cash, cash, you know. So yeah. Let's see. One approach is discuss your goals with your mentor. I said Toastmasters and someone you trust. I'm starting to trust more and more people. That's a good thing. I I was like a hermit, you know, I was like a hermit. And this morning, for instance, me and this girl, I won't say her race, but we got on the elevator together. And then we got downstairs. And then at her car was right here, my car was right there. And she was like, you smell good. I was like, I was about to tell you you smell good, but I didn't want to seem gay. She was like, oh, it just seems so weird, but thank you. You know, I was like, okay. So yeah, you know, it was a good day today. Someone I trust and give honest and objective feedback. Relevant. It should be easy to see the connection between your SMART goals and your longer term career and professional aspirations. Relevant. It has to be relevant. The reason why I feel like it's relevant is because I done been through, hold on. I have to say that relevant. So I done been through what relevant is. I done been through what relevant is. Find relevance. The reason why I want to run for president, the reason not even it don't even have to be in these 4 years. It just pees me off how Gavin Newsom used his power for bad. But relevance is because I want to bring more peace and I want to be the change. I'm not I'm gonna be honest. I just want to be the change for the world as an African American woman. I want somebody in office that has no connections, that which Trump didn't, but he knew them for years because of his monetary status. His monetary status is what got him in and connected. And he's to me, he's like a chosen one. He's like a chosen one. So I don't want to get in there for clout. I want to get in there because I want to see what I can do as an African American woman that can make other African Americans that lived in the ghetto. I lived on a slave plantation. I lived on a slave plantation when I was young, you know, and I went to a mediocre elementary school, you know. I truly feel like it has to be relevant. Going, you know, doing this is something that I think I want to do, I know I want to do, because I feel like it should be somebody on the outside that's African American, given getting a chance to be the best that they can be at what they do. Even if I don't win, let's say I don't, you have to have a winner's mind. You have to have a winner's mind. Trump has a winner's mind. It has to be relevant. And what's relevant is that, one, I want to bring more peace and stability. Two, I want to be an African American woman to go further than just a judge or a doctor's degree. You don't have to have a doctor's degree. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college. And three, I want to just be to change America for. Do you know how big that would be, an African American that has no connections with nobody running for president? No connections with nobody. I have no connections with nobody. The only star, I've seen three stars out of my life. I've seen P. Diddy when I was 18, 17 years old. I've seen Genuine. I didn't get to quite see him, but I lived down the street from his house, and I went to his house one day, and I didn't get to see him. He wasn't there. And Damon John, I sat up there and talked to him for 3 minutes, which is not noted in Grok. So I stopped talking about it and saying it. Um, let's see. So the relevance is that, I have no connections with nobody. Nobody. And the relevance is that somebody virgin, like let's just say virgin, they're virgin from the government. They're a virgin to the government. They don't know as much as a typical, player, but they're a virgin to the government. And that, I think I can make the change, because I've been to the ghetto. I see what's lacking. I see what's lacking that the government is doing, that's lacking the government for Black people. I think he did a tremendous great job at making people work. I think that is something. That way it'll be less crime. It'll be less crime, because they'll be at fucking work. They'll be at work doing their job, working for the paycheck instead of trying to make money to sell drugs. you know um they'll be more focused. So yeah, I hope it becomes a big drought. I hope, since, I don't smoke weed, but there's marijuana centers. There's marijuana is legal. I hope that it becomes a big drought for cocaine, crack cocaine. Well, cocaine is crack cocaine, heroin, all those big major drugs. I feel like there should be a big drought that comes, a big old drought, you know, so that people can wake up and not be in such a funk where they are wondering, well, you know, uh, I want my next hit. I want my next hit or something, and it's like, that's the problem. They're over drugged. And that's why these are the things, are the reasons why I want to run. I'm not guaranteeing shit about winning. I just want to run, run so that I can get my voice heard, have my voice heard, and make sure that other African Americans that know more than me about government can have an aspiration or not aspirations, but inspiration to want to become president. It's not, it's, I don't include Obama in nothing. I know he was the one that got the weed shops going, but I don't include him because I heard a lot of negative stuff. I've been talking about Obama. I've been talking about Obama. I was so under drugs and just woke in a democratic way, where when I heard rappers talking about Obama, Hillary Clinton, I was like, yay, yay, yay. That because you hear about them, but you don't know them. You don't know what they're doing. So we need a real somebody that is wanting change. Somebody wants more change. There could be more things that need to be changed. He can't change everything in 4 years. He can change the majority of what his vision. When you become president, you have a vision. You have a vision of sculpting the America that you are a part of and ahead of and commander in chief of into something beautiful. You can either shape it into something beautiful and create and spread it around with peace, or you can cause war. You can cause war. Time bound, timely. An important criterion for setting an effective SMART goal is that you indicate when it will be accomplished. Be specific about this and include mileposts and deadlines. Well, either way it goes, I want to, for example, I seen this woman from Philadelphia. I think she was mayor of Philadelphia. She was African American. She's like, crime is down. Sorry, my hair keep tickling my arm. Crime is down. We're doing good in Philly. I'm like, what part of Philly do you live in? I don't live in Philly, but I know for a fact Philly is not doing good. There's over 3,000 a day or a month Black African Americans that die, get shot and die, mostly men. This was the statistics in 2022. So I don't want to hear that. If she can be mayor, of part of Philly or Philly, I can do it. So time bound, getting the time bound, when it can be accomplished. It took him 10 years to rally and talk to people. It took him more than 10 years, but it took him roughly 10 years to rally and talk to people and do rallies and get himself out there. It took him a long time. It took him most of his life, you know, because somehow he knew he was a chosen one. I don't think I'm a chosen one. I think I'm a person that just is alert enough to know what needs to happen with history for an African American person. Don't you want a standard, not too smart, not dumb, but a standardized personnel that, because you get them too smart, they think they know everything. You get them too dumb, they don't know shit. You get them standardized where they have room for growth and they have room for motivating people. That is better because they can absorb. They're like a sponge, they can absorb. You know, so yeah, time bound 10, 20 years from now. Who knows? But I am running for senator again when I move. Examples: a broad longer term career goal might be to achieve a position as a senior project leader within the next 2 years. Competency needed for this position include advanced knowledge and skills related to creating and sustaining high performing teams. To achieve the objective of advanced knowledge, an associated SMART goal might be to read a minimum of 6 articles by leading team scholars. M, measurable. S, what is that? Specific. By the end of the semester, and create a 1-page personal briefing note. And A is achievable. That captures the main lessons learned along with follow-up actions. Let's read that again, and then R is relevant. Okay. To achieve the objective of advanced knowledge, and SMART goal might be to read a minimum of 6 articles. That's measurable. To measure it by leading team scholars is specific. You lead team scholars at the end of the semester's time, and create a 1-page personal briefing note. What is the A? Achievable. That captures the main lessons learned along with the follow-up actions. Relevant. To gain advanced skills, an associated SMART goal might be to practice active listening skills with team members. Arrange to obtain feedback on this practice by Team Buddy and include the results from follow-up actions in 1-page briefing note. AR, while working with the team to complete a project. T. One criticism of SMART goal approach is that it may not be useful in the position or organizations requiring high levels of flexibility and innovation. Prather notes that innovation necessitates outside of the box thinking, and somewhat inflexible nature of SMART goals make them less appropriate in settings where major innovations and breakthroughs are needed. Let's read that again. One criticism of the SMART goal approach that it may not be useful for those positions or organizations requiring high levels of flexibility and innovation. I don't believe that. Flexibility. True, true, true. I get what you're saying. And innovation, new things to come. Prather notes that innovation necessitates outside the box thinking, and somewhat inflexible nature of SMART goals makes them less appropriate in settings where major innovations, yeah, because it's no time frame and breakthroughs are needed. Okay. Whew. Sorry. Now that you identify sub goals, align that with organization goals, the what you should be. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna read the blue, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back to it when I get ready to create my employment engagement roadmap when needed. I'm gonna read everything that they put in black and white, and then I'm going to wait to read the blueprint to what they have highlighted. So that way I can get through this quicker and I can highlight what needs to be in the paper or article or matrix that I need to write or do. Now that you identify sub goals, aligning with organization goals, the what, you should begin to think about different strategies for achieving these objectives, the how. Okay. What actions can you implement as a leader to increase employee engagement, motivation, job satisfaction? I know what those tools are. Refer back to the employee profiles you first received in Project One. What's this? Oh, I never seen this. Now I see. These are all their things. That's pretty cool. Given demographic composition of your staff, how might you tailor employee engagement strategies to make sure your employees feel included and welcome as a valuable part of your team? Inclusion and diversity, I just make them feel welcome. I will talk to them, make them feel like a person. We all learn these techniques in school and on the street. I'm both I say to myself, I'm both street smart. You cannot say that any of these politicians are street smart. They're government smart, but they're not street smart. I'm very street smart and I'm very educational. I'm not a Harvard educational person. I'm standard, like I was saying earlier. And I like it that way because I'm able to go back and forth and I don't think I'm smarter than a typical person. If a person is a little slower or slower than me, I don't judge them. I don't sit up there and judge them, because and I don't put myself out there to be the smartest person in the world. I would like to be a standardized person of education that learns and is like a sponge. As long as I'm like a sponge, I am happy. I am happy that I can recollect what has been taught to me and everything. And street smart comes with benefit because then you know what's going on out there really in the streets without word of mouth telling you what's going out there in the street, what's going on out there in the streets. So a typical person that has been in the streets that is street smart, you know, um, can tell a president or a politician what they have seen over the course of 41 years of their life: being homeless, being poor. That is something that needs to be taken care of. I don't want another me in Greerton Court, Charlotte, North Carolina, struggling, trying to hide her books, almost getting jumped. Well, I did get jumped, like have to hide their smartness, not as in me being overtly smart, but just smart, because they want to beat me up because I'm different. So yeah, how might rewards or recognition play into these strategies to make sure employees feel like hard work is appreciated? Monetary, promotions, recognition, period. Identify two strategies to create and maintain an office that is diverse and inclusive. One strategy is to increase cultural awareness among those in your section. One strategy is to ensure that you, as a leader, incorporate diverse viewpoints when making major decisions. Also, explain how these strategies and their outcomes can have a positive impact on individual and group performance. You know, I would like to say this last thing. Let me finish reading. No, I think my mother was very smart to move around. And I get it from her, but I don't get it from her because I'm military and that's all I know. But I will settle down where I'm going if I like it there, you know. it's a red state. Um, but she was smart. She most of the people that I grew up with are dead. They've been dead for 20 years. They either got shot, uh, in jail, or they just gone. They gone in the head. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, my mother, she did the right thing by moving us around to keep us and prevent us from being like them. She didn't want that life for us. And that's why I go to school every day, because I want her proud of me. I know she's proud. I know sometimes she look at me and she be like, "What you doing?" But, you know, I sit up there and I do the right things. I try to do the right things, you know. But she asked me, "What you doing?" You know, take a step back, take a Zen mode, you know, and all of that good stuff. Anyway, how can me org use the cultural knowledge of its workforce to develop or enhance products or services? How can wait? What are the business benefits of having a diverse and inclusive work environment? Stop turning off. Where is it at again? What are the business benefits? Because if you have a diverse and inclusive environment, that is a plateau for a normalized, sustainable, profitable, habitable job setting. How can me org use the cultural knowledge of its workforce to develop or enhance products or services? How can me org use the cultural knowledge? Keyword cultural knowledge. Because we can learn about different people and ethnicities and different backgrounds, and we can grow from that, because there are a lot of smart foreigners, a lot of smart immigrants out here. There are a lot of smart immigrants out here. And yeah, you will use this information to complete your employee engagement strategies for the employee engagement roadmap. Oh, good. So when I create it, which is the next step, um, hold up. Okay, let me go back to. I hate how this is done. That's the only thing I hate about this, you guys. Um, they ask questions within the steps, and you got to go back and figure out what questions. Identify employee engagement strategies to. Let me see something. In the previous steps, you identify specific to your unit that support Me.org's goal of employment engagement. You also formulated strategies to help cultivate a culture of inclusivity. Now you should provide a write-up of these efforts. This section, titled Employment Engagement Strategies, will be included in your overall employment engagement roadmap at the end of this project. Let's just continue to move up to see what we can see. Create your employment engagement. Identify employment engagements. Identify employment. It starts at 7. Okay, let's see. I was doing fine without you. Till I saw your face, my heart can erase. New document. Is this what you want? Is this who you are? This is for August 12th, but today is July 30th. Enter. Ah, tingly. I hate that. Halavon King, Victoria Baskin, Chanel 86. We're going to go down a list of questions that they ask in this particular thing. Create. Now, let me make sure we're on number 8. Okay. Let's go back to assignments. Damn. Employment engagement strategies. Let's click on it. Go back. Damn it, I didn't mean to do that. I did it twice. Fool me twice, shame on me. Oh, they don't have a roster or whatever. Usually I don't know how to go to it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Who knows? So we have this right here, and we don't need that up right now. We need this projects in number 8. Okay. Now we're going to go through the questions. I got all these screenshots up here. Crazy. Keeping track of shit. Come on. Cover it up. Okay. Now that we got to read this over again. Now that you have identified sub goals that align with the organizational goals, the what, you should begin to think about different strategies of achieving these objectives. The how. What actions can you implement as a leader to increase employee engagement? Is that a question? I know it's a question, but yeah, it starts with that question. I'm just going to highlight everything that is a question and answer it. I had me some eggs today, y'all. I put a little salsa in it. It was pretty good. Engagement, motivation, and job. Okay, hold up. What actions can you implement as a leader to increase employee engagement, motivation, and job satisfaction? Well, let's look up now we are going to look up motivation. We're not going to look and read the whole thing, but we will skim through it and see what motivation and job satisfaction consist of, because this is important. It's a question in the notes. Come on, no fun. Employee motivation is the effort and commitment that an employee brings to an organization, that an employee brings to. Ensuring that employees become and remain motivated is a constant challenge for all organizations is considered one of the biggest drivers for organizational performance. While there are many benefits to ensuring employees are motivated, some of the major ones include business no, increased employee commitment. Increased employee commitment. Good. Yeah. Satisfaction and efficiency. Increased employee commitment ensures that employees put forth maximum effort for projects and tasks assigned to them. Increased employee satisfaction ensures that employees remain happy, and it leads toward more positivity in the workplace and company culture. Increased efficiency ensures, oh no, I'm gonna have to cancel that. I'll call them back. That's why I don't like getting into this, because it's a lot. And more, like, I like getting into it, but I don't like getting into it at certain times because then people start calling me. Employee motivation encapsulates these important areas into one overarching, overarching, I hope that is the word. Definition of overarching.
Overarching means forming an arch over something. Do you want to hear the remaining one?
I just had to know how I was sounding, how I sound. Topic that refers to how, and I said it right, how driven a particular employee is to achieve a goal or complete particular course of action. Oh, this is the basic. Oh, I remember this in college. Well, dang, it's been so long. Undergraduate school. This is very important. This is very, very fucking important, y'all. So I'm going to read it to y'all. This is the basic Maslow hierarchy of needs. These are the basic needs that a person must have in order to live a good life. I lacked safety. I lacked uh physiological um when I moved. So yeah, when you lack one, um that throws everything off. But let me continue to go. So there are many theories of employee motivation, where it comes from and how to boost it. One theory of motivation is centered by Maslow hierarchy of needs, which posits that motivation comes from the ability of an organization to address five major needs that all of us require: Satisfying these needs in a sequential, bottoms up approach is essential for motivating employees towards the tasks that we perform. That's very freaking true. So you got it starts with physiological, such as breathing, food, water, sex is one, sleep is one, homeostasis, excretion, safety, security of body, employment. You have to have safety within the workplace. Nobody wants to go to work feeling like, Flats is there ready to beat him up. You know how SpongeBob had a situation where his name was Flats and he wanted to beat SpongeBob up at school all the time. Resources, morality, you have to have good resources. I had to get the what is they called? Red Cross? No, YWCA, YMCA, not YWCA, but YMCA to help me. I had to get a social worker to help me. The family. You have to have good morality, your extension of life, you know, that safety and your extension of life plays a part. The family, you don't have to I know because I done been through it. You don't necessarily have to have family in order to have safety. You know, you can live alone. What if your situation is different? You know, you got all those gray blobs and you're the only purple blob. Like a purple blob that don't have family but don't have family. You have to maneuver around that. What do you do when you don't have family and safety needs? Well, you have to have resources. That goes back to resources. The VA is the resource for me. Health, you have to have good health. That goes back to morality too, extension of life. Hold on. Definition of morality. I think it's about extension of life.
Morality means principles concerning the distinction.
Oh, sorry, I was wrong.
Good and bad behavior.
Good and bad behavior. A distinction between right and wrong and good and bad behavior. Yeah. Okay. And property. Your property has to be safe. Love and belonging. Friendship. It was another word that sound like morality. Morbidity or something. I forgot what it's called. And that's what got me confused about that word. I thought it meant extension of life, but it's the difference between good and bad, right and wrong. Love and belonging, friendship, family, sexual intimacy, esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect for others, respect by others, and this is the most important one of them all: self-actualization, morality, which is the good between good and bad, right and wrong, creativity, to be creative, spontaneity, um problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. It may not seem like they are, this is important, but this is your life. Your life is all in these 5 needs. Your life is surrounded every day by these 5 needs. Some people know it, some people don't. Well, now you know. Without one, because you see how they kind of repeat some of the others or others, without one, that'll throw somebody off. So let's, physiological needs, which is the first one. Hold on. Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maslow hierarchy of needs postulates that need must be fulfilled in a hierarchical order, from basic needs such as foods and water to be more intangible needs such as self-esteem and a sense of belonging. Yeah, you have to breathe, you have to have food and water to have safety. Physiological needs are base level needs that must be met, such as shelter and salary. Without these, none of the other needs matter because they are necessary to survive in our society. Safety needs refer to needs that an organization must provide in order for us to feel safe. They come in the form of security, seniority, and financial stability. Social needs refers to the bonds and friendships that we develop in our work environments and can be met through various social activities and affiliations we have with our organizational identity. Next on the hierarchy are self esteem needs, including the social status that comes along with the work. Do you remember the Titanic? How they didn't want, I don't, I know the movie, but I don't know the name of the people, I know the name of the actors. I don't know the name of the characters. So they didn't want the lady talking to him because he was poor. He wasn't up to their standard, should I say. And I think that that was really messed up. Social status. We are divided in social status still because it's of importance, but yet it shouldn't be of importance. We just all need to work or work at working on something. As long as you work at working, as long as you work at working on something, then I think, and I'm talking about jobs, disability, social security. You know, some people don't even know how to get on social security. Some people don't know how to get on VA benefits. You know, make a plan on working towards that goal of getting benefits. Once you get your benefits, then work on a plan of getting more, obtaining more goals, more money. You know, that's how I see it. But never stop working at something. But yeah, they got different social statuses, middle class, upper class, lower class. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy because I'm stuck in limbo. I'm in limbo. I'm damn sure not rich, but I'm stuck in limbo. I'm stuck in limbo. The social status that comes along with the work being performed. McDonald's job from a corporate job. This prestige of the company, McDonald's job from a corporate job, or the visibility of the role, cashier, um, executive assistant. Lastly, there are self actualization, which refers to the needs of humans to have to grow and pursue meaning in our lives. Maslow posits that humans will be motivated and one of these five major needs are met within our network. University of Minnesota. Now, this is crazy because I didn't even know that I didn't read this, but A study on motivation from Vanderbilt University. That's a very prestigious college. And my son was born at Vanderbilt. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. That claims sources of motivation are not simply psychological, but also chemical. Really? So it's not mental, it's also chemical. There's a higher release of neurotransmitter dopamine in areas of the brain known to play an important role in reward and motivation, suggesting that an individual's willingness to work hard to earn money is strongly influenced by the chemistry in three specific areas of the brain. This suggests that workers will seek out activities that release a various amount of dopamine in the brain, leading to increased engagement. Since the amount of dopamine that certain activities can release varies from person to person, further research, and that's where good training and good communication and a good manager comes in at. Further research is needed to pinpoint which types of activities broadly affect this motivational source. Psychological and neurochemical bases for motivating are intrinsic, meaning the activity is personally rewarding internally. On the other hand, intrinsic motivation occurs when we perform a specific activity due to an external factor, such as receiving an award or avoiding punishment. Oh, performing a task due to a potential grade or avoiding possible punishment for not completing are examples of intrinsic motivation. Damn it. Let me put my charger back on the charger. I'm glad I didn't buy no bread. I would have been tempted to make some toast. Organizational psychologists suggest using healthy mix of both intrinsic and extrinsic motivations to ensure that organizations can broadly empower and motivate a workforce. Yep. Sadhya Pradeep Kumar poses that employee motivation is one of the most important factors affecting, yep, organizational performance, and that employee motivation can be achieved through a variety of effort, taking into account intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. These include open communication, like I said, a reward system that align with the reward behaviors with the desired business outcomes, career development program. Oh, never thought of that. Career development programs for employees, financial bonuses that align to behaviors that produce desired business outcomes, recreation facilities, and occasional awards, recognitions, and gifts. Okay, let me skim through this real quick. We likely to encounter differences among people related to sexual orientation, religion, physical abilities, education, nationality, cultural background, and more. Challenges, this is what happened to me. Challenges that may occur as a result of diversity are negative effects on an employee's mental and physical health because of feelings of exclusion, not inclusion, but not feeling welcome, and decreased effectiveness of work teams. Historically, individuals who did not meet the ideal worker image, they have this example: white male face discrimination that resulted in disadvantages in terms of career advancement. Rights, age discrimination, Americans with disabilities. So I have a disability, and you can't discriminate on me wanting to run for president because I have a disability. Thank you, Disabilities Act. Institutionalized discrimination is defined as a system that creates and sustains privileges for some while creating and sustaining disadvantages for others. Exactly what happened to me when I was at Fort Campbell. Um, I remember my ex-husband used to come and visit me, and they always used to drop me purposefully. And what I mean by drop is make me do push-ups strictly in front of him to embarrass me and make me feel little than a typical person. When he came to visit me, they'd be like, drop and stand in the front, lean and rest. And that was so, it was nasty. It was very nasty. Power imbalance, stereotyping, and microaggressions. I wish that the Army Review Board, instead of talking over everything that they did to give me my honorable, I wish would have happened was that they would have rewinded the tape. I always tell people that fuck me over. I said, well, when God rewinds the fucking tape to see, I may be cussing, but this is very true and near and dear to my heart. When God rewinds that tape to see how you fucked me over, you're going to have to deal with it, not me. I wish they could have rewound the tape to see the very institutionalized, what was it? Institutionalized discrimination. Microaggressions are verbal, behavioral, and or environmental treatment that communicates a devaluation of an individual's contributions. Wow. No matter what I did, it wasn't right. It is important to note that power imbalances, stereotypes, and microaggressions are not mutually exclusive. Constructs are fully representative or fully representative of it should be or a fully representative of the challenges that may be faced by marginalized groups within organizations. This is important. You know, have you ever cross talk? I've never cross talk, but in a big group, like let's say 20 people, you go you go to where am I at? You go to a meeting and there's like 20 people in there and somebody's asking a question and then somebody keep asking questions. Somebody, the only one in there that's asking questions. Then some people start whispering to each other, he's asking too many questions. He's going to take up most of the time on the meeting and then it's going to go over. You know, I hate those people. I hate those people. Just like I was all ears at my graduation. I paid for it and I was all ears at my graduation. I was all ears. I listened to everything the dean said. I listened to everything, but I couldn't because people were like right next to me saying, when is this shit over? I'm tired of hearing his voice. I'm like, oh my God, man. You paid to be here. You just want to walk the stage, you know, like listen to the guy that's speaking about your future. You don't have to be up there talking. I paid to hear him speak. He gets paid to speak. And I want to hear what he had to say. And he said some wonderful things about University of Phoenix. When you are working as a member of a team, ensure that all the members have an opportunity to speak up and be heard and provide a safe space for others to share their point of view. Proactively seek opportunities to mentor or be a sponsor for colleagues who belong to typically marginalized groups. Volunteer to be a part of your organization's employee resource group. If an ERG does not exist, recommend that one be established. In the organization, ERGs are established workplaces or established networks that are tasked with fostering and welcoming, which is inclusion, environment for underrepresented groups. There are Also, more formal approaches that often used to increase workplace inclusion. These strategies are typically implemented by the Chief of Diversity and Inclusion, human resources representatives, or other senior leadership officials. It is imperative to be aware of these topics so you can suggest them to management if they are not already being used in your organization. Offer organization-wide diversity training that educates on cultural awareness and bias. Boy, have I seen a lot of people that was biased towards me. Whole and maybe it was me, maybe I was. Have you ever mind read somebody? I do it still, where you assume that they think that this is a certain way. Like, for instance, somebody, I had a wrong example. uh let's see. I remember a long time ago, uh I had a friend come to my house, and they looked at my awards and they were like, wow, pretty cool, man. Like, and I was like, whatever, they're just awards. And it was like, but you earned them. You earned them. And I was like, okay, I don't give myself enough credit. Um, so I'm biased towards myself a little bit. Hold open forums where employees have opportunities to share their thoughts on diversity relations in the organization. Implement an organization specific diversity management plan. A diversity management plan is an action plan that can be used to establish and maintain culture inclusivity in organizations. Here are some questions the University of California, Berkeley HR department suggests considering to assess the quality of diversity management. Do you test your assumptions before acting on them? No. I just go with my assumptions. Do you believe that there's only one right way of doing things? Yes. Or that there are a number of valid ways to accomplish the same? Oh, yes. Do you convey that to staff? I didn't when I was younger. Do you have a honest relationship with each staff member you supervise? Um, I had young staff. I had young employees, so they I would have did really good. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. Are you comfortable with each of them? Honest relationships with each staff member you supervise. I didn't have a relationship, and I still knew what I was doing uh for them, because I was going to give my business to one of my employees when I moved out of state, and it just didn't work out. Are you comfortable with each of them? No. Do you know what motivates them? Wouldn't talk. What are their goals and how do they like to be recognized? Are you able to give negative feedback to someone who is culturally different from you? Um, Yes. When you have open positions, do you insist on a diverse screening committee and make additional outreach efforts to ensure that a diverse pool of candidates has applied? That's what I'm going to do the next time I do get a business. I don't know what I'm going to get a business in, but I'm going to get a business. I don't want to work for nobody. I'll probably start off working for somebody and then branch off, but I need money. So start off working, save up money, invest in a franchise, not a cleaning franchise, but a franchise. When you hire a new employee, do you not explain job responsibilities and expectations clearly, but orient the person to the campus? Let me turn. Because my hair is just going. Where is it at? To the campus and department culture and unwritten rules. When you hire a new employee, do you not explain? I explained the job responsibilities and explanations very clearly and oriented to the person. Do you rigorously examine your unit's existing policies, practices? I was sending them checks. I had to go through ADP to send them checks. Then I was examining through ADP. We were discussing ways to broaden my employment, my employee strategies. Do you implement staff suggestions and knowledge of their crime? I just said that. Do you take immediate action with people you supervise when they behave? I did. I fired her ass. She even slept with my husband. And then they called me talking about, oh, we slept with your man. Like that was crazy, man. That was really crazy. I wasn't even a bad manager. I wasn't even a bad manager. A bad manager would have allowed her to do whatever she wanted and me do all the work for her, you know, um, and make it easy for her in that way. That's like giving sugar to a baby. But I don't know. She was such a bad employee, man. She was such a bad employee. Do you have a good understanding of institutional isms such as racism and sexism and how they manifest themselves in the workplace? Do you ensure that assignments and opportunities for advancement are accessible? I already said that. I do. I do. Probably, see what kind of franchises they have out there where I'm moving to and see how much I have to save up to get into them. I want to be a manager of my own company. I will willingly put in the hours just so that, I got so much stuff I'm juggling. On one hand, I want to work in business, be my own boss. On another hand, I have to continue to go run for senator and be in the government's eye so that one day when I complete the task of manager, maybe 10 years or 5 years or even 3 years, I can maneuver and save more money and maneuver and invest in promoting myself for state or US Senate. So let's do the homework now. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene had her own business. Most of them have their own businesses and they come in with money. Woo! That is good. Good smoothie. Mm. What actions can you implement as a leader to increase employee engagement, motivation, and job satisfaction? Look back. Let me take off this because I'm going to be doing a lot of typing. What actions can you implement? Well, as a leader, I would like to implement non-biased employee commitment by oh, y'all can't see. Having good communication. Oh man. Skills, understanding culture, awareness by seeing maybe their disability or sexual orientation, seeing maybe their disability and working with them in a non biased way, making them feel like they are human beings. I would also promote and reward them in a situational I will promote and reward them in a situational in a I will reward them. I will also reward them. Motivation such as transformational leadership is something that sticks with me all the time that is so important. That's why one must reward, reward, and internalize. That's not right. The culture of the employees. I'm not stating to go out there. Have y'all remember those strips of steak? I have steak in my, I can't eat it, but those strips of steak that's very thin and very soft, and um I'm going to Chipotle in 3 months. I know that. I'm not stating to go out there and dang, I spelled there wrong. I keep seeing these Chipotle commercials. I haven't had Chipotle in 10, 15 years. No, 5. I'm boasting. 5, 5, 6, 7 years. It's really high. I'm not saying to go out there and become your employee, become your employee's father. All I'm stating is that one must be aware of all of their employees, what their goals are, and how a program can be developed to how a program can be developed to train. Dang, I got it. I got it. I forgot all about this part. To train your employees on the works of the job description, and also on conflict and so much more. Okay. Employee engagement will increase when given tasks that they understand properly, and you in using Maslow hierarchy of needs. A giving them, I gotta go back. Where is it at? Giving them shelter and food. And food, which are the basic, some of the basic needs, but the physiological needs are met by either job or disability. What else? Motivating an employee through a reward system is is a must. What else? What else? What else? Um, I already said that. Motivating an employee is something else that I wanted to say. Motivating an employee, let's read it. Having diversity management, good. By not having them feel, where is it at? Where is it at? I have to step off camera because my nose is bothering me. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna try to hold it as long as I can. Where is it at? Exclusion. Excluded from the job is a must. Exclusion can cause help to decrease and cause other negative issues. Having a motivation to, what motivates y'all to come to work? They like a goddamn paycheck. Having a motivation to come to, wait, I wrote that wrong. Having job satisfaction. Having job satisfaction goes back to giving them responsibilities, and having job satisfaction goes back to giving them responsibilities and educating them through what? Through in wow. Educating them while having inclusion and diversity. Okay, what's the next question? Refer back to the employee profile. Given the demographics, how might you tell our employment engagement? Here go another question. Damn it, I didn't mean to do that. No, that's not what I wanted. I remember when I was in Texas, I can't believe I went to Texas. I remember I was in Texas. I drove a 2025 BMW X5 or X6. I don't remember, but I was so scared to drive that thing. I didn't even I Now that I have a Mercedes, I'm like, I'm just trying to get this together first, y'all. But I'm like, okay, it was like being in a space shuttle. And And all you have to do is tap the gas, and you're like right there, uh, in front of somebody. And it was rush hour. I got there at like 5. It was a long line. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I planned ahead of time, and they sold out of all the cars, and I wanted the BMW. And I asked them to show me how to work the BMW, but nobody showed me. They just said, do it this way. It's easy once you get the hang of it. And I'm like, I don't want to sit up there and second guess and then end up in neutral, rolling down a hill somewhere. And then, last thing, and then I'm going to get to the next question. I get there, I leave at like, I hate driving at night, but I drove at night. It was like 4:35 in the morning, and I drove at night all the way from Mesquite, Texas to the airport. And I can't believe they got a name after Bush. They got George Bush Boulevard. Hold on for a second, y'all. I gotta blow my nose. George Bush Avenue or something. I don't know. So they got like a George Bush something. It's on a highway, George Bush Highway. And I was like, damn, I didn't know they had this. And obviously I didn't. Now this is my first time there. But I get to check in my car. I get to check in my car, and they said, leave the keys in there. We'll take care of it. So I get this bill. They take out $200 talking about I didn't give the car back on time. I'm like, I was there at 4 in the morning. Check-in time before the car was at 8. And thank God, the elevators was broke down at the airport, so I had to come up the steps with a big old luggage. It was terrible, man. But I enjoyed myself. I really did. I really did. I enjoyed the service. Big old bumblebees, just the flying. I sat up there, and it took me 20 minutes to find my car. It took me 20 minutes to find my car because it was so many people out there. I was like one of the first people that parked. I was there early, just ate a cookie, hung out in the veterans room. It was pretty cool. Okay. Given the demographic composition of your staff, how might you now? I sat up there, and my staff, based on what I told her prior, was that I run the military. And so that's the example, staff and what you do, it's just the example, so I'm supposed to be a part of a head of running the military. And so example, how might you tailor employment engagement strategies to make sure your employees feel included and welcome as a valuable part of your team? Demographic. I know what demographic mean, but demographic composition definition. Demographic composition definition.
Demographic composition refers to the description of a population according to certain characteristics such as age, sex, education, occupation, etc. This is from Learn Quebec, NAS Dictionary.
I would create a plan for employees to be together and work on diversity strategies. Age, sex, creed, etc. would have to sign a plan stating they do not care whether you are transgender, what else? About and about the age, making sure that the older people teach the younger people their style of working before they retire. What else? Demographic composition definition.
Demographic composition refers to the description of a population according
Education.
to certain characteristics such as age, sex, ethnicity, education, occupation, etc. This is from Learn Quebec and AsDictionary.com.
About having strategies about how to engage with another employee is something that is very important. For example, having classes for all people of all walks of life. What is that smart? I need to go back up. Hold on. I gotta go back. Where smart goes. That comes in handy. For example, comma, having classes for all people of all walks of life. For all people to join and start engaging and talking to one another is a good thing to do. Open communication shows dedication, and while motivating the people and doing it with them will engage in a better. Okay. Open communication shows dedication, and while motivating people and doing it with them as a manager will engage in a better quality of career. No, um, okay, career. Yeah, I will make sure I show him by talking to the diverse individuals one on one and then get them to talk to each other just in case they need help with something and need critical thinking skills from their peers. What's the question? Okay, that's good enough. Go back up here. Mm, okay, copy that. Three. What? What? Why would that do that? Why is that doing that? Come on. How might rewards and recognition play into these strategies to make sure employees feel that their hard work is appreciated? Rewards and recognition. The strategies the strategies needed is good communication skills and performance evaluation and motivating the employees have some stance on how an employee feel about their job. Sometimes you will get an employee that is just not an employee that is not what what employee that is not rehabilitatable, but the majority needs the job and giving them leeway with mass laws, hierarchy of needs, such as the basic physiological needs, shows them responsibility and appreciation. They have to have a job in order to they have to have a job in order to pay their bills. Promotions, rewarding rewards, and having recognition parties can go along. How come I was wondering what was going on with this? Let me paragraph double. Are y'all watching? Hold on. I need to go to Stream Boo. I'll probably do it after this. What else? I feel like recognizing an employee is very vital. Donald Trump recognizes his employees all anytime for their work. I recognized my employees when they were doing a great job cleaning. If they did not do a good job, I would talk to them with respect and see and try to see where did it go wrong. Okay. I hope I don't. They have the answer. Identify 2 strategies to create and maintain an office that is diverse and inclusive. Okay, I'm going to put that in there. Levon King. Oh, that's messed up. That's cold-blooded right there. How did that happen? 2 strategies to maintain an office that is diverse and inclusive. To have open communication strategies, strategic classes to build the character of the job, the employees. To have open communication strategic classes to build the character of the employees. They will have break the ice sessions too. What else? Understanding the employee by engagement in and sessions with the understanding the employee by engagement in sessions with understanding the employee by engagement in sessions to help see and create a plan for a short term and long term plan for the employee and manager. Watch a ball of purple, the magic balls around. Yeah! Daisy loves to sparkle and dazzle all around. Okay. Oh, let me put this in there. 2 more questions. This can bring peace among the workplace and cause a more positive outcome and less negative effect because everyone is communicating and not necessarily getting along, but if something comes up serious and the manager is busy, they can go to the other employee member they broke the ice with and see if they can come up with a solution. Creating a short term plan can help bring peace because it offers a solution. Smart goals. Ah, smart goals are necessary to smart goals are necessary to complete to because this way it's business and both parties knows what is going on with the problem and the solution. Then you have expectations that the manager is discussing with the employee to help with rewarding or promotion. Okay. What are the business benefits for having an inclusive work environment? One more question. More people, word of mouth, word of mouth would get out about the job and more qualified people would come and join. It would feel more like a group of people creating and completing tasks while contributing to their It will feel more like a group of people creating and completing tasks while contributing to their goals. These goals will implement and proceed forward with the expectations of the job description, knowing that all parties I say 95% of the people at the workplace flow is going positive employees. How can me org use cultural knowledge of its workforce to develop or enhance products and services? Due to the fact it is fast paced and a lot of workers base merit off of how much work is going to whom, helping helping create a cultural awareness between the workforce can help. They do me things all day and find ways to promote and enhance those shoes. For example, Jordan graduated with the hope of just to create shoes. Created shoes from nothing. They their the core job is to make sure that they me that or job have meetings about various things they would like to promote, so it's safe to say they have a beginning and end solution to the problem. Different cultures have different opinions and backgrounds. I'm going to, let's see. These are licensed. That's not a reference. Okay. Okay. Should have read that, but I skimmed through it. So, anyway, so I finished doing my homework, and I appreciate those who have sat up there and watched. I appreciate those who just chimed in. Um, I am about to get off here. I have a lot of stuff to do today, and take care, be safe, and hold on. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye.
Never waste my time. You are I want.